anymore, and you're kind of putting me in territory where I got to plead the fifth.
Okay, so you ready to do this?
No, so let's do it.
All right.
Play the music.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 39 of Ultimate Gamer Podcast. I'm joined with Andy.
39? How many have we been doing? Jeez.
Dude, you've been on here since episode, I think, 15. So you've been here for, well over 15 episodes.
Somebody kill me. Anyway.
If it was really a problem, you would have killed yourself by now.
I'm just too awesome.
Yes, I can tell.
Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Oh, God, yeah.
We are actually recording this, and it's Halloween outside. I've actually told a bunch of kids to get away from my door. So that was fun.
We had only one trick-or-treater, thank God.
Fucking kids. What happened to Mischief Night? I remember...
Oh, no, Mischief Night did hit this place pretty bad.
Oh, really?
There's just, like, toilet paper littering every fucking block.
Lol.
Did I ever tell you the time that someone threw a frozen tomato at my window?
Did they hit something?
They broke my window.
Well, that's usually what happens when you throw a frozen tomato at it.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, okay? So you shouldn't throw frozen tomatoes at your windows, Jack. It's bad. The more you know.
I purposely did it to myself. Well, interesting news this week. I got a DualShock 4.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw your videos, and so some people will remember what I was talking about when I tried the controller. So now I must ask you directly. If you were to put your thumbs, as I described, did you suffer the same fate of the tappy tappy tap?
Okay, now look, I can't believe I get to say this. As I am talking, I am holding a DualShock 4 in my hands. It is not tethered to any security device, and I'm not recording this at a Sony store. So, yes. But holding it normally, I do not touch the touchpad. If I do put exactly what you mentioned, the way you were holding the controller, yes, every time you push the stick up, it will touch the touchpad and actually click the touchpad in.
So, friends and... Well, actually, no, not friends. Anyone who is listening to the sound of my luscious voice, if you have big hands...
Expect to say, why is the menu up?
Oh my God, I'm kicking it. Why is the menu up?
Also, you just like snap and start punching people.
Yeah, fuck? You know what? Gamers will understand that sometimes you just get into it and you're like, ah. But yeah.
Well, I have to really say though, like, I mean, for me, I personally don't. I mean, yes, I haven't played it on a PlayStation 4 yet, but well, actually, I have, but we'll get to that later. But I don't see myself wanting to take my fingers off the fucking thumbsticks and putting it on the touchpad. Like, you know, the early games that utilize it are going to be so gimmicky and retarded. It's like I was mentioning to you earlier that with the Vita, the back trackpad is used for stupid things.
What was it? Climbing the... What was it?
Like if you're on the rope in Uncharted.
Yeah, that's the one where you're climbing up the rope. You gotta use them to climb up.
You have to like slide them side by side as if you were walking. It's really stupid.
It makes about as much sense. No, actually, it doesn't make sense at all.
Like I knew like from the point, and they were like talking about like, and it has double touches, so you can touch the front and the back. And I'm like, they're showing off like examples. I'm like, yeah, but it's just gimmicky as shit, and you're never gonna utilize it for any real purpose. I mean, like you had what do you call it? The game with all the little demonoids. There you go, demonoids. And that one utilized little deviants. I'm sorry, I call it demonoids.
Yeah, you're thinking about demonoids, which, well, no longer with us, but there is something out there for the people who were part of it. Moving on.
But the little deviants, I mean, one of the things that they showed off was the, they call it rolling hills, where you would use your finger on the back trackpad, and then it would translate as if you were lifting the stage up to roll the ball. Interesting idea. Got boring really quick. The same thing with like there was this one where these doors would open up in a barn and you had to hit all the robots. So if the robot was facing forward, you had to punch it from the back by using the back trackpad. Problem is, in theory, it's a cool idea. In practice, it doesn't work because you can't accurately determine where you're tapping. So a lot of the time, you weren't even hitting it.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. So sorry.
So in this case, I don't know. I mean, I don't think any of the games I'm getting at launch are going to utilize it that well. Maybe Knack will. Maybe Killzone Shadowfall will. I don't know. But
there has to come a point where making the game controls slightly more complicated than they should be becomes a negative.
I agree. If they make like one of the concerns I have is, okay, you have a share button, you have the options button, which I have to say they have horrible placement. I'm serious, horrible placement, because I've been really trying to get used to the controller with Modern Warfare 3, so I've been playing that a little bit lately, and I have the control set as the defaults would be in Ghosts. So I've been trying to really get used to it and stuff. I have to say the sticks are much better. I think they're more comfortable. The triggers are fucking amazing. I'm serious. Like, if you're out there, you still haven't played with the DualShock 4, the triggers are what they should have been on the DualShock 3. They're just so much better. They actually give the Xbox 360 a run for its money.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. But whenever the mappings for the PS3 is options will be your start button and share will be your select button. So every time I'm going to hit the options button, it's just like you want to hit the button like where the speaker is on the controller. Like it just seems like such a horrible placement for these buttons. So now the other thing is, where's the start button? I mean, some people are saying the trackpad's going to be the start button, which...
But then that's going to present an entirely different set of circumstances, because if that giant thing is one or, I don't know, multiple, I don't know how many buttons there actually...
It has a single button in the back. I mean, you're talking to the person that took the damn thing apart.
Yeah.
It's got a single button in the back. But
I don't know, it just would seem... For me, aesthetically, it just seemed unwieldy. Yes, it felt nice in the hand up until I, moved forward, and then the clicking began, but...
No, I definitely think the whole touchpad is horrible, and they should never have put it on the controller in the first place.
They could have done something like it, or maybe they could have done something else. I don't know. Maybe something along the lines of the the LCD trackpad that we're going to see in the supposed Steam Machine controller from Valve.
Yeah, I did see that, and I think that would be a better design.
Something like that, where it became not so much necessary, but it's just something in the background that can be accessed, since the majority of things are going to be done by the thumbs anyway. I don't know.
True. I do like the light bar. That was the first time seeing it in person, and it was kind of cool. Like, I guess when you go to a kiosk, you really don't get the feel for it, but when you plug the controller in to charge, the light actually turns orange and fades in and out, kind of like a laptop.
That's right, ladies and gents. Jack loves shiny things.
I do. It has lights. They're so glowy. And what they should do, just for shits and giggles, if you're like, they said when you're playing a game, it would like change colors and stuff. So like if you get shot, it turns like flashes red or something. I mean, it really just seems stupid, but it does add a little aesthetic to it. I don't know how useful it is. I mean, because when you're holding the controller, you can't even see the light bar from the perspective that you're sitting, because it's angled downwards. So you will never see the light bar. So if a developer out there is going to say, hey, when you get shot, we're going to make it flash red, you're not going to see it. You're not even looking at your fucking controller. So no, it's like, I don't see the point. But it definitely is much more comfortable.
That's the other thing, is that, yes, the aesthetics and all, but do they really think gamers look down at the controllers for long enough periods of time to notice something like this?
No.
Like, am I going to keep looking down at the... Oh my god, I'm still clicking and moving stuff, but obviously not looking up at the screen.
No, it's like that with that's part of the problem for the Wii U. I mean, if you look at the Wii U gamepad, I rarely look at the fucking screen if I'm playing a game, because there were times where like it's annoying with the Wii U. For those who don't have a Wii U and never played it, there are games out there that will they will tell you, oh, look at the touchscreen. So it will say, look at the touchscreen on your TV. So you have to actually look down to see some stupid message that's down there, and that tells you to hit A. Okay, now the bottom screen will tell you, look at the TV. So it's like, why? Like, there are times where I'm like, why do you need to? It's like, it's the same thing with the 3DS. When you're using the 3DS, a lot of games would tell you, oh, pull out that fucking stylus and hit save, because we're not going to let you select save with the D-pad or any of the face buttons. You have to touch the touchscreen to save your game, because we refuse to make it accessible with the A button. That's the same case. So it's just stupid. It's like tacked on and annoying as shit. But at least we won't have that with the PS4, but I don't know. I'm just more afraid that, Sony insisted on adding all these extra gimmicks. And yes, I'm calling that touchpad shit, it's a gimmick.
Ouch.
You said ouch?
I'm saying ouch, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it looks stupid. The controller feels really good in the hand. I will not give it a good score for aesthetics, because I don't think it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
Now, once again, this is you trying the controller on everything else, but not trying it on a PS4 or with a PS4 game.
I have tried it on a PS4.
Okay.
I drove all the way to Edison to go to a mall. Now, this is how sad, right? I live in the greater New York area, and you can tell me that there's not a single fucking store, Target, Best Buy, mall, or anything.
I don't know. There's something weird about the selection that they have.
The closest place is more than 40 miles away. And you're just like, okay, so I just drove for 40 minutes to go, to a mall that I've never been to. I didn't even know existed. It's a pretty nice mall. So I go
but it's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah, it's in the middle of like all these like abandoned factories and like power companies and shit. And it's not too far. It's
basically the land that time forgot. Okay, a few miles after that, and that's the Raccoon City. That's where you're gonna find it.
Yes. So you go in this mall, and they have a Sony store, which we used to have a Sony store in the Garden State Plaza. That closed down. I wonder why, because I probably only bought one thing from the store, and it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You would always go there to play. It's basically like an Apple store where you just play with everything. You don't actually buy anything, because it's not like
that's
you
what
can
most
find
stores
a better
are becoming
price
now.
anywhere
They're just
else.
becoming showrooms. I know for a fact that whenever I go to a Best Buy or anything, I don't buy anything there.
Well, actually,
I just look at it and test it out.
Because now with taxes on Amazon, and a lot of the big stores will actually price match. So if you go to Best Buy and you say, hey, look, I would like to buy this game, but Amazon is charging $10 less, you show them that on your cell phone, and they'll actually knock $10 off the game. So at the end of the day, you're walking out spending the exact same amount of money as you would have spent on Amazon, but you get it now. So I think that's actually going to start changing things a bit, because primarily why I would buy from Amazon is I wasn't paying sales tax. So you would save like $40 if you were buying a big ticket item. You were saving a lot of money over the long run. Plus, I was willing to wait the extra 2 days to get it, because I wasn't paying sales tax. But now it's like, well, now I have more of a reason to buy something, because, I like when I buy, for instance, the audio recording equipment, from Guitar Center. Guitar Center price matches everything. So, I would walk out paying the exact same amount of money I would have paid for if I went and bought it from Amazon. So, you know what? I think that's good. I think it's great for brick and mortar stores because they need to do this to survive. But unfortunately, they really can't afford to undercut quite like Amazon. I mean, Amazon doesn't have storefront locations. They just have a fully automated warehouse, which that's what they're building in New Jersey. So they're like, hey, look, we're going to have a lot more jobs. We're going to have a lot more jobs. But do you realize that the whole factory will run by itself?
Pretty much.
Remember, robots do not have sticky fingers.
And if you want things to cost less, you got to put more robots into the equation.
Exactly.
Well, what do you got to do?
So we're paying
Either
sales
way,
tax for
I don't
robots.
know if anyone else out there has had it happen to them as well, that instead of going to stores to buy things, you only go to stores to test them out at the very, very cheap showrooms. So, for example, when I was going to go get my LG Optimus, I actually went out to a couple of stores, played around, see if they actually had the model, see if I played around with the model, and that was it. Then I went and got it, and ta-da, it came in through the mail. I don't know. It's just because, once again, even though you find great prices online through Amazon, through Newegg, through even Tiger Direct sometimes, not so much anymore. I don't know what happened with Tiger Direct, but their prices are going way up.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Oh, so back
You
to
still
the PS4.
see the item, but
I forgot to actually say.
Oh yeah, you went to Edison. Going down to Edison.
Okay. So I went to the mall, went and tried to play the demo kiosk. Played Knack. I mean, you could definitely tell Knack the build that they have there isn't the final build, so it's a little buggy. But I can see. I mean, because the biggest complaint people had said, they're like, this will run easily on a PS3. No, it won't, because of the amount of physics that this game requires. Basically, each individual piece of Knack will have its own physics. So as you're walking and everything, it really shows that you have weight. If you get hit at any point, you'll find pieces of Knack fall off. So if you get hit, you'll find, okay, like 20 pieces of Knack will fall off. That requires a lot of processing power. So yeah, you may not visually see like, oh my God, everything is just like real life. But what you will notice is you'll have more detail in other aspects. So, that's really what they're trying with this game. I mean, it definitely did look better than anything I've seen on PS3 for a while. There are definitely games that look better on PS3, but this is definitely a good game out of the gate, because I like to remind people, go into your game collection and find a launch title. That is, if there was any worth playing. Like, for instance, pop in Resistance. Pop that into your PS3. Compare that to Resistance 3. You'll notice that there's a substantial difference between the two games. Because, for one, they figure out the architecture. Two, making games evolves too. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand. Right now, you're saying, oh my God, this is the next gen. It's supposed to look night and day better. It doesn't always come out that way. I remember back in the day, people were like, oh my God, like the early Xbox 360 games look just the same as the best Xbox games. And I remember people saying that. But what you'll find is, over time, developers find new ways to make their games. They find new technologies, new game engines. I mean, look at CryEngine 3. One of the benefits of CryEngine 3 is it's able to bring better graphics to lower-end hardware. And this is something we'll see with the next generation. The games that you're seeing right now aren't going to be the same quality as the games you'll find 5 years from now. And this is the same thing for PCs. I mean, the PCs have a lot more legroom because they're a lot more powerful, but even your graphics card, people tend to say, oh my God, your graphics card only supports DirectX 11. Well, it's not entirely that determines the quality of your games.
That's true.
I mean, you look at Bioshock. Bioshock ran in DirectX 10 and DirectX 9. There was a difference between the two. However, it wasn't as big as people made it out.
It was a negative difference that you could actually notice and say, oh my God, that looks disgusting.
The game looked good regardless.
Exactly. But then again, that could be also left to the art style, but that's a different argument altogether.
Exactly. And that's something we'll see with the PS4. You're going to find, okay, when they release a Gran Turismo, it's going to look even better than the Drive Club that's coming out for the PS4. Or you look at you know what, Killzone Shadowfall. Well, okay, well, let's say they make another Killzone 3 years from now. Okay, it's still going to look better because they're going to have new methods of making games. I mean, the biggest example is look at a Donkey Kong Country. The Super Nintendo was never capable of rendering 3D graphics as well as it looked. What they did was they figured, okay, we're going to pre-render all these sprites in 3D, and then we're going to take a snapshot of them and then have our game engine play them as if it was an animation.
It was a pretty good shooter.
That's how they did it, and it's a very outside the box kind of thinking, and that's, you know, okay, that's like an extreme example, but you're going to see the same thing. You're going to find, okay, we're going to make a new game engine for the PS4 that is able to utilize different aspects better, or it's more efficient. It's the same thing with Windows. You know, Windows 8 runs faster than Windows 7 on the same hardware. You know, the hardware never changed, but the software did, and that's what we're going to see with these next-gen consoles. The software is extremely premature right now. You know, everyone just built these quick game engines that run on the hardware. They're not optimized at all.
And this is something that you and I were talking about right before the show. And
exactly.
You have to answer honestly. When you were playing Knack, as when I was playing, what was that game? It's not even that
playing something from. Where are you playing? Watch Dogs?
Yeah, Ubisoft. Yeah, Watch Dogs' new Ubisoft. When you were playing it, did it not feel strangely like a PS3 game?
It did. There is no doubt about it. It felt like a PS3 game, but you can. I guess the thing is, I think
that's what kind of brought this up. If I'm taking a guess,
if you're sucked
why.
into the story, like I can definitely. I mean, look, I was just playing something for the first time, so I didn't get. You can't dive deep into a demo, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, you have people waiting in line and stuff. You're only allowed to play for 10 minutes,
Fucking
whatever.
people.
Well, I was able.
People make this world horrible.
I was able to play for an hour, but that's besides the point. There was like no one there.
Well,
so.
No one's gonna fucking show up in Edison, dude.
Of course. On a Sunday, nonetheless. So, what do you call it? But I mean, if you're sucked into the game, you're not going to give a shit what you're playing on.
No.
But the game did lag out a lot because, again, I do blame it being an early build of the game that they're showing off as a demo.
And there's actually a big issue with a lot of these demos that they keep saying like, oh, you can try out. What nobody else seems to understand outside of the business is, when people are tasked to put a demo out of any piece of software for the user, for someone out there, a random person to try, it's almost an entirely different project in itself.
Of course.
That puts an extra amount of strain on the development team to stop working on the game and then take a piece of the game and make it fully finished, polished, able to be used. Of course it's going to be buggy. Of course it's going to look like
crap.
They
didn't even have the Rumble working.
Simple shit like that. So really, I don't know why consistently they keep forcing.
Now, we're going to get into more news. I mean, there's a lot of PS4 news that came out in the past few days,
and expect a rant about this one because he's actually fucking angry.
well, there's multiple rants. One that I didn't even tell you yet. The frequently asked questions was released, and we'll start off with this one. There were a lot of things that were said, things that were kind of bullshit, but things that were just ridiculously bullshit. And one of them being something I was excited about when they originally announced it, but they never really dived into it. They never explained exactly what it entailed, and it was the ability to play music in the background while you're playing your games.
That's always been very nebulous, very dubious on all systems.
It worked perfectly on the Xbox 360.
Oh no, yeah, it did. But then again, Microsoft didn't really need to give a shit about it because at the time nobody.
I thought it was awesome. I mean, even
I loved
Xbox
it.
360, you could.
I used to play
iPod.
Battlefield and just fucking play POD, a shit ton of different rock bands in the background. It was fucking brilliant.
Or heck, if you're playing a racing game, a lot of times racing games have shit soundtracks, so you can play whatever you wanted. Heck, I was playing Sonic R background music while
oh my god,
playing,
I had the most
Forza.
brilliant fucking playlist. It was a mix of like Dropkick Murphys, whole bunch of like Prodigy. It was like the battle tune mix.
Yeah, it's a feature that I've always wanted on the PlayStation 3, but it never came out.
Yeah,
it never came out. But I was excited when I saw that. I saw it as a bullet point. They're like, yes, you're going to be able to play your background music. And I was like, oh my, this is really cool. This is really awesome and stuff. But what happened is they had mentioned briefly that something about that you can play what do you call it, music unlimited. So a lot of people were questioning it. They're like, oh wait, does this mean it's only music unlimited? No one knew. Well, this week now we know. It legitimately it just says that MP3s are not supported. DLNA is not supported. MP4s, MKVs, they're not supported.
What the?
Which we'll dive into what for the non-techies or whatever out there what it means. But you'll have if you want to listen to music.
This is the best and quickest way to say it. 90% of the music in your music collection, boys and girls, is not playable on the PS4. Period.
Exactly, because well, look at it this way: like you're not. I mean, like, I like to listen to Japanese music sometimes when I'm playing games. I mean, I have music that you can't always find on streaming services, and I have Spotify. I love Spotify. I think Spotify is great, but, from time to time, they tend to be dickheads, and they'll say, well, even though you had this album in your collection now, it's not going to be there for the next 2 weeks because we have licensing issues. It's like, I like to own my fucking shit. But with the PlayStation 4, they're being douchebags because you can't play audio CDs, which I'm wondering if it's a physical limitation, because what I'm betting they did to cut costs, I'm betting they took away the infrared laser diode.
Actually, that would kind of make sense.
It would, and I don't entirely blame them, but with the PlayStation 3, and this is something that people need to understand, it has 2 laser diodes. It has a Blu-ray and it has a DVD, which is a red laser. The red laser can be focused to the point where it will work with audio CDs. Now, I don't believe they took out the red laser because it lets you play DVDs. So obviously the red laser
and DVDs, although they use a different wavelength, they're still using the same basis of the technology.
So it should, in theory, be able to read a CD, but they're being complete dickheads. And now I'm at the point where I realize, okay, it's an artificial limitation. It's entirely intended to make you spend $60 a year for this music subscription. And I've looked it up. This music subscription service has the shittiest collection of music compared to Spotify or compared to RDO, Slacker, or any of them. This one has the least amount of songs. I mean, you have everything from Sony Music Group, but you don't have everything from Warner Brothers. You don't have everything from all these other music labels out there.
And now for the non-music folks, 70% of your music is not even on this service.
Exactly. Now, what sucks about the lack of DLNA support or MKVs, I mean, something I was really looking forward to, because the PS3 does not support MKVs. I rip all of my Blu-ray movies as MKVs. And, I mean, everything supports it. My cell phone supports MKVs. I mean, my Roku supports MKVs.
Go Roku.
I mean, my Blu-ray player, my Sony Blu-ray player supports MKVs, but the fucking PlayStation 3 does not.
What a twist.
Exactly. What a twist. I don't understand this shit.
It must be a specific move to try to focus people to go into the downloading side of it. Because remember that one of their main focuses was turning the Sony experience more towards a service angle and less towards the actual personal acquisition or personal, what is it, like, the amount of, like, stuff that you have in your own collection.
But they
Instead,
basically, I mean,
they want you to actually buy it digitally now. So
now, back to DLNA, which goes towards the PS3. I'm able to watch MKVs on the PS3 because of DLNA. What DLNA is it's a widely adopted protocol that will convert media to be able to be played on anything that supports DLNA. So the PS3 supports it. If I have an MKV, I have it running on a Plex media server, which is fucking awesome. For anyone out there that has not yet done it, do it. It's worth all your time.
Yes, try
it is fucking
Plex.
amazing.
It is wonderful.
And the Roku supports it.
Chromecast, not yet.
But Apple TV doesn't. Apple TV's
Apple TV will never support
Fuck
it, dude.
Apple TV.
It's built on open source platform. It's never going to be accepted.
So
go on.
I have a Mac Mini, the 2012 Mac Mini, running Plex, and then I have a Ready NAS. That's where I store all my movies. My movies average about 20 gigs each. So the PlayStation 3, if you click on it, if you go to the video tab on the cross media bar, it will actually show up with media servers, and it will say Plex. So you click on it, and it will show you movies, and then it will show you the box art or whatever, movie poster. So you can
Yeah.
click on the movie, you wait like 5 seconds for like the Mac to really start rendering it, and it will do real-time transcoding. So the movie quality will look exactly the same as a Blu-ray. It's an MKV, but the PlayStation 3 will still play it. So it really works really well. Now, I was expecting the PlayStation 4 to widen the broad, I mean, because things have changed. When the PlayStation 3 was first introduced, MKV did not exist. Or maybe it did, but it was still
No,
very
when it
brand new.
existed, it was only mostly used for Linux audio encryption, to be honest.
Yeah,
At the
that's
time, it wasn't really accepted by anything else. Yeah.
Macrovisha. I mean, I remember the early days of MKV. I remember everyone was against it. Everyone's like, why can't people are releasing movies on
And really, the
torrents that are
only like
MKVs?
Linux distro that was actually able to make use of it was Yellow Dog Linux.
Yes, but MKV is like widely supported. I mean,
Oh
it
no,
is
now
like,
it's fucking the
yes,
bread and butter of the majority
exactly.
of the
I think
internet.
MKV is better than MP4. So I use it,
Oh,
and
those are fighting words.
I use VLC to play it on my computers. But
For those of you who don't know what VLC is, find out. Dear God.
okay, everyone must download Plex and download VLC Media
VLC.
Player. Do it now.
If you haven't done it, like do it as we're telling you. Like VLC into Google or Plex into Google.
And the beauty of it is, no matter what fucking computer you have, these programs are supported on your platform.
Yeah, that's true. You could be running fucking Windows 95. True story. I have someone at work who runs Windows 95. Yes, it will still work.
Does it play?
Not well, but it'll still work.
When your computer stutters when playing MP3 files, you know it's time to upgrade. I remember trying to play MP3 files on my Windows 95 computer
God.
maybe 8 years ago.
Dude,
And
try playing a WAV file. Just any WAV file was like 30 seconds long, half an hour for it to start like stagnant.
It's funny. So now with that, I wanted the PlayStation 4 to really step up its game, but it seems like Sony's given the big middle finger to people who have extensive collections at home. Because, I mean, for me, let's say, here's a scenario, and I always say this, and it's a true scenario. Let's say you're homesick, you feel like shit, you have the flu, but you want to watch a movie. But your entire Blu-ray collection is downstairs, or it's in another room, or it's next to the TV, but you have your remote. You choose, hey, I want to play one movie. Do you really want to get up, get the fucking movie, put it in the player, or do you want to just lay there, have an entire catalog of movies at your fingertips, press play, and just fucking play the movie? I mean, it's things like that where it's more of a convenient thing where I rip it up. I use it so I can watch movies. If I'm on vacation, I'm able to stream. That's one of the big selling points of Plex, but you can stream all your media wherever the fuck you are. I stream media to my cell phone, so if I'm in the car, I have my music collection streaming from my house onto my phone through Bluetooth to my car speakers. So it's really, really good. So it's that kind of thing where, I don't want to constantly have discs all around. And for these fucking companies to be like prancing around saying, we want digital everything, we want digital everything. No, you're being a dickbag if you're not supporting MP3s.
They're being dickbags, but at the same time, they're being smart because they're forcing the evolution of the market to what
they were. People have already spoken. Everyone's pissed off. So the guys,
people used to speak about the whole idea between MP3 and crowd sharing and peer-to-peer compared to torrenting, and well, we know how that ended. Either way, if that's how they want the market to go, it all depends on the amount of people willing to buy the shit that they're selling.
I mean, people are pissed off, and I think Sony will eventually add DLNA support and stuff. Because
Sony is no Microsoft.
No,
unlike
but
Microsoft,
they will. I know Sony will. I guarantee you, because they've already made mention of it in Twitter, because people sent a shitload of tweets to the Shuhei Yoshida. I think that's the guy who's in charge of PlayStation right now. And this guy, he replied, he said, I just forwarded this information over to our development team. I had no idea that you guys were really this passionate about it. And I think that's the case. And someone even said, did they ever do not a case study, but have a bunch of people really sit down and say, yeah, I would actually like this. Because I think it's a step backwards. And a lot of people said that. They're like, how is it that your previous console had more media features than your next gen console? It doesn't make sense. Now, moving on. I mean, look, Music Unlimited, yeah, it's cheaper than Spotify. I've done the math. I mean, Spotify is $10 a month. That's 12, so it's $120 a year. So it's half the price of Spotify. So it comes out to about $5 a month. So that's fine. But yeah, I don't want
Not
to
a
use
fan
Music Unlimited.
of paying for a music service.
I
I've been
do,
using
but
Slacker for years,
Mhm.
and I mean, I've been on more than one occasion. I've actually like considered buying it, but then at the same time, no, because it's the free account for Slacker is way just as good. The
For
only thing I would be
me,
getting is
it's a twofold problem, like especially with Spotify. The free music, you have an ad every like 5 or 6 songs. The other thing is the quality is 96 kilobits per second for the bit rate.
that doesn't happen in Slacker.
That
You
fucking
got true
pisses me
flow.
off. So when you pay for it, you have the highest quality, which they call it the extreme quality, is 320 kilobits per second. That's what I stream at with my phone. That's
Well, that's
why I use
well
more than 2 gigs a month.
over
Um,
4G. That is not good for you, my friend. That is
no, I do it over LTE.
uh,
What?
yeah, that's gonna go over your data plan.
No, I have
Well, yeah, you
unlimited.
got unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, suck it.
Hey, I have unlimited too. What the hell are you talking
Oh,
about?
okay. So why are you worried?
Because the majority of the people are on limited data plans. So when it comes to something like that, that would be a big hurdle. But yeah,
Oh, of
but I
course.
get where you're going.
I don't. Heck, when I got T-Mobile, I burned through what was it like 10 gigs or something in like a week.
Jesus, what are you torrenting with your phone? Which, by the way, you can.
Besides the point, I was downloading Linux
I
ISOs. I
knew
was
it.
downloading Linux ISOs directly through the web
Nice.
browser on my Android phone
Pro
because I was.
5 over the internet.
Oh hell yeah! It was the 700 megabyte ISO. I downloaded it because the internet at that company was like shit. It was a DSL line. It would have taken
Oh
like 2 hours
God.
to download. We were like fuck this. So I pull out my cell phone, go outside, and I press download. And then like 5 minutes later, I had the ISO downloaded to my phone. I plug it into my laptop, copy the ISO off the phone. I was like fucking a. Hey, I utilize my data plan.
That's one way of doing it. That is true. Holy
Um,
crap!
what
You
was it?
downloaded
So,
an
so
ISO.
now back to the frequently asked questions. There was other bullshit. And one of them is basically every fucking game for the PS4, you have to install it.
Yeah.
They never made any mention of this shit. I mean, Microsoft got shit on because it's still the case for Microsoft where you still have to install all your games before you play them. But Sony, the news only just came out now. Like 2 weeks before launch, this news comes out. It's bullshit, especially when you look at the installs. I'm getting Knack, I'm getting Killzone Shadowfall, and I'm also getting Call of Duty Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts requires a 49 gig install, Knack requires a 35 gig install, and Killzone Shadowfall is like a 38, 40, whatever gig install.
How's that new NAS looking now?
Huh?
How's that new NAS looking now? Because you may have to repurpose it.
Yeah, right. I mean, what the fuck? And this is where it's a bigger problem because they're using laptop drives. I mean, the biggest drive you can technically fit in there right now is a 1.5 terabyte drive. So if this is the case, like
And
the
this is just
stock,
the installation files for the games. This is
yes,
not counting downloaded content, size of the
exactly,
OS itself, extra content,
exactly.
anything else, any widget or anything you add on there that
So
needs to
people
save data.
people give Nintendo shit about 32 gigs. I think it's a bigger problem when the fucking game disc needs to be installed and you're installing about 50 gigs worth of content per game to your hard drive. 500 gigs looks like nothing if
Yeah.
that's the case. This is stupid.
And see, these are the big things. There's also the little things. For example, Bluetooth headsets are not going to be compatible.
Yeah, out of the gate, they're
What the
like
fuck?
saying no. What's funnier is that like $200 Pulse headset that Sony sells directly for the fucking PS3 does not work on
Work
the
for the
PS4.
PS4.
How the fuck do you screw that up?
Oh, and on top of which, the same thing that's haunting the Xbox One, that the console's going to require activation via the internet
Which is bullshit
or a
too.
quote special disc before it will play Blu-rays or DVDs.
Which, look, I mean, I can sort of see why they're doing it. I try to, I'm not one for devil's advocate, but in this case, I can see why they're doing it. They have to pay a licensing fee, and everyone's like, oh my God, they own Blu-ray. They don't fucking own Blu-ray. They still have to license it.
Yep. They don't own the media on the Blu-ray. They may own the medium, but not the media. So
Exactly. So what they do is they pay a license fee for you to decode the movies. And they do it for DVD. They pay Toshiba. Toshiba owns, or they were part of the main players for DVD. So Toshiba gets licensing fees for the ability to play DVDs. The Blu-ray Media Group, or Blu-ray Disc Media Association, or whatever it is, it's like 20-something companies, they get the licensing fee for Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to buy Power DVD and spend $150 to play a fucking Blu-ray disc when the Blu-ray player itself is $30.
Ouch.
Yes. So with the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, every single PlayStation 3 out of the box, you could play Blu-rays. So that meant for every fucking PlayStation 3 sold, Sony would have to pay a licensing fee. Well, what if 20% of your, demographic actually used the Blu-ray player functionality, which when I first bought the PlayStation 3, it was my only Blu-ray player. I played a lot of Blu-rays on it.
And true story for me as well. I wasn't a fan of PS3, but I bought it as a very cheap Blu-ray player and turned it into a media server without Yellow Dog Linux.
So now, look at it this way, where everything I have, my laptop, my desktop, I have standalone Blu-ray players. I have Blu-ray players like popping out of my ass.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 3 is the very last Blu-ray player I'll touch because it's loud and noisy, and I'm not going to do that. I want to watch my movie and not hear a fucking fan blowing in my face. So I can see where a great majority of people, even people who are bitching and complaining that, I need to hook it up online to activate those functionalities, I bet you're not even going to play Blu-ray movies on there. So for Sony, they're saving money by not paying this licensing fee. They'll say, okay, we'll give you like $10 for every PlayStation 4 that activates this functionality. You're not, you the consumer, aren't going to pay that $10. You already paid the $10 when you bought the console. Sony is just betting on that you're never going to turn that feature on. It's the same thing for the PlayStation 3.
And unfortunately, a majority of the crowd never actually uses this hardware to its fullest extent.
Exactly.
So yeah, they're pretty safe on that.
It's the same thing for the PlayStation 3. If you wanted to play WMA files on the PlayStation 3, you had to press the activate button. And what that basically did was have Sony say, hey, Microsoft, we'll pay you the licensing fee to decode WMAs. But we're betting on the fact that the majority of people aren't going to use it, so we're only going to give you money if someone uses the functionality. So I don't blame Sony. I think it's smart from a business standpoint.
Okay, when it comes to something like that, I also agree with you. But there's other small things that I do not agree with. For example,
go ahead.
The suspend, resume, and remote assistance features are listed as unavailable for the North American launch.
That's bullshit.
Are they gonna what the hell? So you're telling me something that was supposed to be at launch is being scaled back and waiting until your Europe release to then patch it? What the fuck?
Well, actually, if you go to which is funny, if you go to us.playstation.com, it's one of the bullet points for the console. If you go to PlayStation 4 and it goes to features, literally, let's show. It's on there. It says instant on, and it has all this extra shit. Let's see. They've modified it since then. But you'll see play as you download. That's a functionality that will not be available until you install this day one update. Remote play will not be available until you install the day one update. Even using the PlayStation app will not be available until you install this update. Which I'll have to give Sony credit. This is something that didn't get a lot of attention, but I do believe it should be. You can play your PlayStation 4 while it's downloading this update.
Good for them, because the whole downloading anything on the PS3, jeez.
Yeah, something that Nintendo desperately needed, because I was one of the few who had a Wii U day of launch that had to sit for 2 hours for this fucking thing to download an update. So now with the PlayStation 4, at least, you know, it's a 300 meg file, which I don't foresee it taking that long. But yeah, you do have the fact that you're going to have a ridiculous number of consoles being turned on in one day. So yeah, you're going to sit there. But Sony is doing it smart. They're going to give you the ability to download this update prior to launch, put it on a flash drive, and then boot the console into safe mode, plug it in, and update the console, which is what I will be doing. So I'll avoid the whole download shit day of launch. I think that's very smart.
Well, yeah, you'll need to if you are in the North American market. The moment it comes out,
yeah,
you'll have a version 1.5 download. So
I think that's complete bullshit that like half the features aren't there. And there was a rumor, and I want your take on this. Do you believe this rumor is true? I personally think it is, but they're saying that this day one update disables the DRM scheme that they were planning on using. But when they realized that it was basically making Microsoft look horrible, they decided to back out of it.
There's no possible information I can have for this, but yeah, I would believe it.
I would too. Like, I mean...
Because the thing is that if they used Microsoft as a litmus test to what would happen to the rest of the gamer community if the developers stood up and say, you know what, universal DRM for everything. Well, Microsoft did not bode well, so I wouldn't be surprised if a few minutes before the Sony announcement, they were like, oh shit, rewrite this, take away those things, take that out of the PowerPoint, take that out, delete it and burn it. It never happened.
Exactly. I mean, because they did spend time focusing on that. So I think, in a way...
Although everyone is going to say that, no, this was planned completely ahead of time, nothing was changed.
But no, if you heard Shuhei Yoshida, that when they made that 5-second video saying how to share games, he said that they literally made that video right before the presentation.
Yeah.
So you would think that maybe they got the phone call saying, hey guys, it's not working for Microsoft, we made our
Shit's
decision.
going down.
Yes.
Downtown Chinatown, James Brown.
That's what I think happened. Because if you think about it, remember I was actually re-listening to one of our older episodes, the one that was the pre-Xbox One announcement video, and we were talking about EA backing out of the online pass functionality.
Yep.
And we even said, you know, it seems very odd that they would do this. We didn't even fathom that Microsoft would like completely fuck over everybody. Yeah. So like you would think EA, if they were betting on the fact, if Sony and Microsoft both told EA saying, hey, look, we're going to restrict the resale of games, we're going to make it so your online pass is obsolete. Okay, so then EA will say, okay, we can look like the good guys. We can say, okay, we're no longer the evil schmucks. It's these two asshole corporations that are releasing new consoles. So we're going to say, hey, it was unpopular. We no longer believe in online passes, betting on the fact that Microsoft and Sony were going to go through with their original plans. They were happy to hear that Microsoft was going through with it until they backed out. But then when they realized that Sony backs out, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll bring back the online pass.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I wouldn't put money on it.
I definitely, I wouldn't bet on it, but I would definitely believe it to be true that Sony was going to do the same thing. Because again, they have a history. They patented the idea of locking out a disc, tying a single disc, a physical disc, to a physical console, where the console would write in a rewritable space on the disc saying, hey, look, this disc has been used.
Yeah.
Or have each disc coded with a different serial number or something. That was the idea they originally had for the PlayStation 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually originally wanted to do this with the PS4. But I don't know. I mean, lately with the news, I mean, I'm still excited for the console. I mean, the nerd in me is really excited, but I don't know. I think it's starting to lose its steam.
And this is coming from him, so...
This is coming from me, yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the controller is great. I think it's awesome. It does not work with any fucking PC game I've tried. So... we'll have to figure out that. I'm sure someone's going to make a driver or something that will work.
if someone is always making a driver, you just have to give it 48 hours, and there you go.
True.
Someone's hacked it, made a driver, made it to work with, I don't know, their a motorbike or something. Yeah, it's usually the rule of the internet is the moment some piece of hardware comes out to market, usually it takes about 48 hours to the extent of a full week before it's been fully broken down and,
Recoded.
yeah, that's one way of saying it. It's kind of the rule that goes with iPhones or any new phone that's locked. Immediately, you just have to give it 48 hours to a week. The snow people will come up with a way of cracking it.
Take this paperclip, shove it into the headphone jack, and boom, unlocked.
Oh, man.
Or in the case of the I think it was the Germans that actually found a way around the whole fingerprint ID scanner thing.
Yeah.
They used toner, glue, Elmer's glue, and something else. I think like
Well, the problem
saran
was is
wrap.
that the scanner system itself wasn't actually that reliable. With a bit of grime on your finger, it wouldn't work. Oil.
And this is
spread.
talking to somebody who actually has one. I have one.
I was reading from the specifications and from what happened when they started doing security testing on it. Because that phone with the fingerprint security system was the one that was thought up to be for Globe Standard Security Rating, which is that security rating that they use for any device that enters like things like the Pentagon and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And before they actually did the study for it, they found that it's both easy to crack and easy to break.
I mean,
So-
don't get me wrong. I mean, in the
It's a
average-
gimmick.
No, but it's a gimmick, but it is still secure because you have to. The whole
problem
point of
with
any
that
security,
level of security is
someone.
static security does not work.
No. Look, security only works if you're not a target.
That
is
is
true.
the worst. Yes, it's true, but that
But
is
it's
the
true.
worst
I mean, look
concept.
at it this way. Okay,
That's like
the amount-
That's literally security through obscurity.
no,
Which,
no,
if
no. It's not the same thing. Look at what
Yes,
I'm
it
trying to
is.
say. What I'm trying to say is this: if you wanted to get access to my phone, the amount of effort it would take for you to find a way to get my fucking fingerprint. For one, you would need to get my phone, which is very hard because I don't leave my phone anywhere. I never do. I never will. Because I'm very, very protective of that shit. I mean, people know me. I don't even let my phone lay on something that would scratch it. I'm very protective. Second,
Yeah, he is
you would
crazy.
have to have found a way to get my fingerprint, either through a piece of glass, which was the example they used. They used a clear glass, which was very obvious. But I mean, heck, there are things on my desk. They're all porous surfaces, so you won't get a perfect print off it. So there's a lot of variables that were inside. Their entire hack, which yes, they were able to pull off. They were able to pull it off pretty fast. Was under perfect conditions, where everything was planned out. Could I have you go to like 10 random people that have an iPhone 5S and crack all 10 of them? I don't think you'd
Well-
be able to crack a single one because the amount of effort it would take to obtain this fingerprint is just too much work. That's what I'm trying to say. So the security works because your girlfriend can grab your iPhone and won't be able to do shit with it. It
I'm
works.
starting to
Your
see a
brother will
definition
not be able to
problem
do
here, for
shit
sure.
with it. But if you have that guy who really, really, really wants to get into your phone, there's something on your phone that guy really, really wants, he will have to have alone time with your phone and also know exactly where to get your fingerprint.
Oh, boy.
And would have to also figure out which fingerprint it is. I only programmed my thumbs. So you would have to look at a glass and figure out which one is my thumb, and you risk the possibility of having different fingerprints covering it up or mixing with it. Even forensic analysis will tell you, hey, we don't find all 5 of your fingerprints. Or all 10 of them for that matter.
No,
We don't
it's usually
get
only a
all 10. We
fraction
get
of
a
one.
few of them. So that's what I'm trying to say. So the
All you
security
ever
works.
really need is a fraction of one.
Can
I'm
it be?
still
Is
not-
it crackable? Yes. No
Yeah.
one's denying that. Everything is crackable, but it's a type of security that for what it's protecting works. If I had this security for an ATM machine, fuck no. I would never use one for an ATM machine. Would I use this for like identification purposes for like Google Wallet or something? Fuck no. because all it takes is for someone to put a skimming device on a thumbprint reader, and then that's it. You can't change your password at that point. But for your cell phone, it works perfectly fine. For something that's your own personal device that just makes it a tad bit easier, where you don't have to type in a complex password every time you want to download a free app, then yes, I agree with it. I think it works. But I do not think it will ever see the light of day past that. I don't think it will ever be used for Google Wallet. I don't think it will ever be used for ATMs or anything else. I don't see the future where you push your thumbprint and you can buy a house, or you can get into your house with a thumbprint, because that's not real security. Biometrics are designed for very limited uses. Because
Actually,
again, you can't change the password.
It's the implementation of what type of biometrics. I mean, for example, there is a varying set of... Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop us there because we are getting way off track.
But, it's a good one to discuss, and I'm pretty sure people that listen to the show would appreciate...
Still waiting for 100 subscriptions. That's all I need. But, yeah, until we get there...
You still don't have 100?
No, I think we're at, 40-something, 50-something.
Okay, everyone that listens to this episode, just fucking subscribe to the guy, and we'll just start our tech podcast. That's it.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure now we'll just have it happen.
Doubtful, but sure, why not? We can dream.
I will actually put in the beginning of the episode, I'm going to put an annotation that literally will stop the video for 10 seconds, and we'll have the entire video. If you click the video at any point for that 10 seconds, it will link you to your channel.
Oh my god, these poor viewers. I'm so sorry that he is such a dick.
Mark could be a real dick. Put a 10-minute thing on there, so you have to click.
Oh god. Oh god. No, don't be that guy. We need to get back on track. We need to talk about the fact that Call of Duty is 1080p in PS4 and 720p on Xbox One.
Oh, it's a good thing I sent you the notes.
Yeah, we need to get on that.
We're on number 2, by the way, guys.
You know what? No. We're on number 2 of 1 or 2 now, because 3 and 4 we kind of touched upon. 4 not so much. 3 we did.
We did. You're right. Well, we didn't really touch upon remote play, but we'll get onto that later. But Call of Duty and even Battlefield. Yeah, Battlefield 4 is the same case, but not as severe. Call of Duty runs at native 1080p on PS4, but runs at 720p upscaled to 1080p on the Xbox One. That's a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal for people who actually notice the difference, which is
no, I do. There's no denying.
Oh yeah, you're exceptional in many ways, Jack.
No, I'm dead serious. I could tell for a fact whenever the console is upconverting Call of Duty, like on the PlayStation 3, you could tell because of how things are blurry. Because there's more to it. A lot of people like to take still images and then say, "Oh look, can you see the difference?" It's more involved than just a still image. But when you take that still image, you blow it up. So you're taking a 720p image and you're stretching it to 1080. You will start to see the quality of the picture is degraded because it's blurry. It's like the old days where you had you had an image that was sub was it 1020. Or was it 1024 by 768 or something like that? That square resolution that everyone used. But then you would have that one jackass that's using a lower resolution, and it's stretched across a 17-inch monitor, and it looks blurry as hell. Everything's just ginormous.
I've never understood that.
But that's the same case with 720p versus 1080. I can see a difference between that in movies. I can definitely see it. And I can definitely see the difference, especially in video games. I mean, look at PC gaming. If you were to change my game to 720p, I would immediately know something's off, because you can tell by the font size, you can tell by a bunch of other things, because a panel's native resolution, especially with LCD panels, you can definitely tell a difference between them because they just look overly exaggerated on a lower resolution. So yeah, I would notice that also because when you hit the PlayStation button, you would notice that the XMB was blurry and enlarged. So the resolution on that also changes, so it made it even more obvious. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Call of Duty looks like running native 1080, which I have seen. I mean, I've compared it to PC, and it does look much better. because upscaling does not make anything look better. In fact, it makes things look worse, which I never understood about people. They're like, oh, if I put a DVD in a Blu-ray player, it looks so much better. It's like no, it doesn't.
That's not how it works, because you're talking about the interlacing the actual image on the file. It doesn't come in the same. Too many variables, too many things, not enough time to explain.
Exactly. Which I mean, the only thing to explain is
which
it does
means
not look
shut
better.
up, you're stupid.
Exactly. Yeah, and there was a rumor out there actually saying that Call of Duty Ghosts would run native 1080p on the Wii U, which has not been confirmed right now, but I would be really shocked. I would be shocked that it actually did, because that would suck for Microsoft. You're telling me, hey, let's buy our next-gen console, but it's slower than a Wii U?
That's not something you're going to want out on the presses, because that's going to be a hell of a quote.
Oh, yeah. Well, it did do a lot of damage to them right now, because now you're basically saying, yeah, the PS4 is better. Right now it is. You know, based on the games. You have two different games, two big games, which they're the number 1 and number 2 spot on both consoles' pre-ordered list. Call of Duty Ghosts and Battlefield 4 are the top dogs right now, and they both run at a higher resolution on the PS4.
What'll really be interesting is once people start to figure out that, yeah, although the consoles may be great, and the PS4, clearly at this point, technical standards, is trugging ahead of the Xbox One. And then they see someone playing on PC. I know I am a broken record on this, and I know nobody likes me when it comes to this, but...
You know what really kills me? I wish YouTube had better bit rates, because I look back, like I have the raw source files for a lot of my videos I make, so I compare them to running them at the 1080p setting on YouTube, and you just see how shitty they look compared to the source. When I made that video showing off PC gaming versus like consoles and stuff, a lot of people are like, I don't see a difference. And I'm like, yeah, I can see your point, because
you can't really see the difference unless you're standing there.
Because YouTube pixelates, and it just has such a shit bit rate. So when you're watching a racing game, you don't see the details that I actually encode them at. Yeah. So my videos are actually much higher quality. So we'll probably see the day, if the internet gets a little bit better, we'll start to see the day where YouTube will handle higher bit rates. So when I make a video saying, hey, look, PC gaming,
but for right now, you have to take our word, folks.
Take a word for it. If you know somebody as a friend, somebody out there that has a really good rig, and I'm not talking about laptops. Laptops, I gave up gaming on laptops, because they just, for the money you spend to get a laptop that's capable of remotely running things that a desktop for half the price can, you know, you really are paying out the ass for something that will be obsolete a year later. Whereas, you know, you build a rig, you can always just pull the graphics card out and sell it, and then just buy the next version, which is what I do.
From heating problems, you're suffering from form factor problems.
I got tired of it, so now my laptop only does work. That's all I do on it. I watch movies on it, and I do work. Do I play... actually, there is only one game I play on it, and that's League of Legends. That's it. It's the only game that I'll utilize on it, because everything else, it's like the difference between running on a console and running on a PC. If you're running on a shit laptop, yeah, it's gonna suck. But did you hear, actually, which is really bullshit, Need for Speed Rivals is 30 frames per second, capped on all platforms.
Why? Why would you do that?
That completely killed...
I'm not even a fan of the franchise, and even I'm going, why would you do that?
Such a stupid move. Such a stupid thing.
You're not making it easier for everyone else. You're making it harder for the majority of the audience that's going to be the type to buy a racing game.
The playing field. No matter what platform you choose, it's going to be shit. I mean, that's one of the benefits that PC gaming has always had, is that for the most part you can run every fucking game at 60 plus frames per second, which does make a difference. No matter what you say, it does. It's been scientifically proven that it makes a difference. Which was very interesting how they did that. They actually put like a repeatable test. They took 100 different subjects, and they had them play a game, Quake 3 Arena, which we love to play a lot. Play Quake 3 at 30 frames a second, and then play Quake 3 at 60 frames a second. Every single person did better at 60 frames a second than they did at 30. They were able to pull off faster shots. They were able to react faster. They were able to aim faster. And these are things that what 60 frames a second gets you. Just mind you, 60 frames is double what 30 is. So the fact that they're putting 30, which I've played a game at 30 frames on my rig and I hated it, and that was the Split Second. I thought it was a great game. However, it really made the experience shit because it was running at 30 frames, and there's no way to get it to run at 60. And even people tried hacking the game to get it running faster, but that was another example. A racing game needs to be at 60. It's one of those games that will make or break your experience. And Need for Speed Rivals, it's a next-gen game. It's a next-gen game, but it runs at half the fucking frames, you stupid asses.
With the baseline hardware, they could easily top 60. Am I correct or no?
Of course, the PS4 can run at 60. Like
I don't understand why this would be... Why would this even be considered a good idea in the first place?
Exactly. Like, what's funny is they have all the options. Like, they're explaining, yeah, we're going to have, like, what do they call it? TXAA or FXAA, which are options that the NVIDIA cards offer, which are supposed to speed up anti-aliasing. They have all those options. So they have all these great graphical settings where you have ambient occlusion, which is, I think it's SAOO. I don't know. I may be wrong. But that's another...
SAOO.
Yeah, so they have that. They have all these ridiculously good graphic settings, but the refresh rate is capped out at 30 frames. Stupid asses.
It's not even stupid. It's just mean at this point. It's just being intentionally self-deprecating. It's like going, I'm going to take the spoon and kill myself. And then 3 hours later, you're still just hitting yourself on the forehead with the spoon. That's the level of, like...
Yes, it's
insanity. It's pure insanity.
It falls under sabotage. Your series has been swimming up shit's creek for the past 5+ years.
You lost the paddle 5 years ago, my friend.
Need for Speed stopped being good since the original Most Wanted, which was a launch title for the Xbox 360. Every game after that
hurts.
I'm sorry, I never liked. I didn't like the remake of Most Wanted. I didn't like any of these other games. Hot Pursuit, which is also a remake of the original Hot Pursuit. But all these games are shit. They took
now,
away
I can
from
tell you,
what was
I may
great.
not be a racing game, and I have to admit this, I may not be a racing game enthusiast, but as a general gamer, and as someone who plays games and understands the difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS, there is a reason why you want to get as much FPS out of any experience when it comes to PC or any other gaming system. It's the experience. You're paying a premium for that experience. When you limit yourself or cap yourself like that, you're not doing it to level the playing field. You're doing it because you're a lazy developer.
I don't know. I mean, like, they didn't even give a good reason. They just flat out say all of our platforms are going to run at 30.
When you have to worry less about the frames per second, because you don't have to worry about that much level of detail or have to spend as much time quality assurance, testing out your product when it comes to higher levels of FPS. Because any game created in existence right now, if you put it at 30 FPS, could run literally on a fucking netbook.
Yeah.
Okay? You can run anything on a netbook at 30 FPS.
You could run Need for Speed Most Wanted
it will run
on my laptop on integrated
silk.
Graphics at 30
Of course,
frames.
if you had that silk in maple syrup frozen and then thrown into the between two glaciers, only to be, recovered thousands of years later by a more advanced bat-based species of half bat, half squid. I don't know. That's as smooth as it's going to run because you're running at 30 FPS.
Yeah.
Whenever you've seen in any other scenario where it's glitchy, where it's just, it takes you out of whatever you're doing. Whenever you've had a bad experience with a PC game, that's what it's like seeing the difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS.
Of course. You can definitely tell whenever there's frame drops, like even when it dips down to 50, I see it.
I don't know. I'm personally outraged by this
yourself if you can't see that.
This is one of those like putting your head in the sand scenarios where they're thinking that it's a good idea as long as I don't listen to any other idea ever conceived by the minds of man.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like la 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 la.
It's like saying, "Hey, I have Blu-ray movies, but we're gonna put that movie on a Blu-ray disc at standard def."
Oh,
That's the same thing here.
oh, that's horrible.
But that's basically what they did. They keep saying it's a next gen racer, constantly saying this shit. But we're capping it at 30
That's like
frames
buying
a
the most
second.
advanced stereo system on the planet and then putting on your Apple earphones to listen to it.
Exactly.
It's like getting a record system, direct vacuum tube transceiver, right out to the output, and then at the 3.5 millimeter jack, you put in the shitty as fuck Apple earbuds right there. And then you're like, yes, I feel the music. No,
Oh no,
you
no, no,
don't. You
not
feel
this.
feedback.
No, no. Then they say it's like crystal clear clarity and everything. That's how they advertise this. They're like, yes, it's the
and
best.
then you
It's
walk
the
up
best.
to the guy and say, dude, you haven't even turned it on. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. It's just sad, but it's true, and this is something that needs to stop. I mean, because there's no excuse. I mean, you're running on next gen platforms. You know, all they want to say is look at the details. It looks so great. It's like, yeah, but if your only way of achieving this is to cap it at 30 frames,
Okay, we got to move on from this because this is
Yeah.
just infuriating. But yeah,
it is.
remote
Okay.
play.
Remote play, which I'm really looking forward to. It's essentially what the Wii U does, but it's a lot more powerful in the way that remote play will finally work, because it never worked for the PSP. It never worked for the Vita connecting to a PS3.
Nope.
So 3 times a charm. Let's see if it actually works. But
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Sony the one that started working with Gaikai, or is it Xbox One?
no, it's Sony.
Yeah. I'm actually a fan of Gaikai because their architecture was actually pretty fucking
Which
interesting.
is what they're saying, is that the PS4 from the ground up was built around Gaikai technology. So they're saying that there literally is a chip inside the PS4
built
that-
specifically for remote play.
built specifically for encoding the video that will be streamed to your device. They've said, they have never said they're going to do it, but they said that it is in fact capable of letting you play your PS4 on a laptop, playing your PS4 on a cell phone. You could play your PS4 on anything, is what they're saying that this technology allows them to do. So they kept
If it
touting-
actually is possible, or if they're actually going to pull it off,
I think
that's
they
a
can.
different
I mean,
story.
because other functionality of the PS4, which will work at day of launch after you install that update.
It's not a question of if they can. Of course they can. If they put their mind to it, all of their business resources to this specific project, of course. But then you have to ask yourself, would this actually make money?
Of course.
Because then you'd have to ask, are they going to charge for it as a service? And
No,
you know,
because
it's going to be a service.
No, but the functionality of it is basically it's like Plex. You know, you're building your own server. Your PS4 is your server in this case. So what they're trying to get at is one of the things that.
But to my understanding, version of Gaikai, even though you would have the hardware and the processing would be going on your end, it would still need to be beamed out, encoded, and then sent back to whatever device that you're on.
Which is what Gaikai was all about. They were able to.
There would have to be a
remove-
middleman involved in it, and that's where you'd have to have outside help.
Of course, I'm sure. Well, they could do direct connect. I mean, basically, the limitation is your both
Internet
ends of
connection.
your internet. So the fact that I have 45 up and I have a fiber line, okay, is
We
fine.
get it. You have a huge e-penis. Move along.
Okay, so let's say, for instance, if I was at work. At work, we have a direct fiber line there, too. So as long as I was within a reasonable range of the wireless router from my Vita, I could, in theory, turn it on, hit remote play, turn on my PS4 remotely, and resume playing a PS4 game on my Vita, even though I'm in 2 different states. They've shown this in an advertisement. I made a YouTube video about this a while ago.
Yeah, I
saying
saw
that
the
they showed
Asian
the
girl who
the
stopped
Asian girl,
playing.
yes.
Yeah, Knack, and then she goes to, I don't know if it's a university or a library, and then she plays it on her Vita,
Now,
correct?
this is, yes, they showed that clearly, showed that in the video. Now, the frequently asked questions page that has like 100+ things on it, it says that, yes,
And he combed through all of it just for you, folks.
oh yeah, it says it's not officially supported, but you can do it. They're saying that what they do officially support is you being on the same local network.
Yeah.
So, you know, basically,
Which,
like
in
the
my
Wii U.
view, if you're doing direct connect, would make more sense in the local network.
Of course, which, I mean, hey, the previous iterations of remote play didn't work regardless. So,
Step up.
it's a step up. But people who have tested it said it does work when you're within the same network. Well, I'm going to put it to the test, of course. I'm going to, go to work and on my lunch break decide, hey, I'm going to play PS4 and see if it works. And I'll definitely make a video showing it if it works or not. But what their main concern was the latency, which the whole point of Gaikai was to eliminate as much latency as possible. And that's what the whole Gaikai technology and patents are. So Sony is utilizing latency reduction techniques and technologies that Gaikai owned. That's the whole point. So, which is great. I mean, hey, heck, I would love, like, sometimes even with the Wii U, as I said, if you're sick and you're tired or something, I mean, my computer room is in one room, my bedroom's in another. You heard the saying, like, you don't shit where you eat. I don't play where I sleep. But if, let's say, you want to, you could just bring the Vita in bed. You're tired, you want to just play a quick match or something of Call of Duty. You just connect and boom, you're able to play in bed. I do that with the Wii U. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to remote play. I think it's definitely a great thing. It's, in the case of pinball, I love pinball, and they're releasing Pinball Arcade on the PS4. I'll be able to play a better version of Pinball Arcade on my Vita through remote play than the actual Vita version of the game. That's pretty cool.
I will be excited when I see it.
Okay, and you will.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to stop by your house once you get it, and I want to see it working.
Heck, you can do that. I don't mind. And then all of a sudden, my PS4 is missing. Damn you, Andy.
Oh, please.
Well, did you
With
actually...
my rig...
Did you actually... It reminds me of an old story I remember hearing years ago. A guy at a college dorm, someone busted into his dorm room and stole his Xbox 360, but they didn't steal the controller. So he went around and they were trying to figure it out. He kept hitting the power button, and sure enough, it turned on. One of the nearby roommates turned it on in a nearby dorm, and they were able to catch the guy. They're like, yeah, the only way that this could turn it on is if it's connected to that console, and why else would it be connected to someone else's console? So that was very clever, and that's the case here. You just start turning on remote play on your Vita, and sure enough, hey, someone has my console plugged in.
You're gonna have to do a video about this because I want to see this actually take place once you get your PS4.
They did this shit. I'm sure someone actually recovered their PS3.
Yeah, that may be great if somebody's done it for publicity. No, I want to see it from a third party, because that's something huge for the market if they're able to pull it off.
Oh, the remote
more huge
play?
Than even they think about it.
What,
because remote play would allow anyone literally on anything to play whatever game they like at optimal speed.
Well, not entirely. I mean, if you think about it, in my case, it comes back to the whole Blu-ray thing. Where, I rip all my Blu-rays so I don't have to get my ass up to do it. Let's say you're at work, you decide, heck, I want to play Knack, but the Call of Duty disc is inside the PS4. Well, either I call somebody up that's home to swap out the disc, or I just suck it up and continue playing Knack. I mean, that's going to be the case. I mean, this is the only positive thing about digital distribution for the console.
Hey,
it's the only.
Well, for consoles, yes, not for PC.
For PC, it just means you can pirate easier.
Yar.
I did not say that. Speaking of pirates, I have Assassin's Creed 4 downloading now.
Oh, God.
I neither confirmed nor denied if it was from a pirate source.
Speaking of ridiculous shit like that, what is it, for Battlefield 4, I believe, the DRM is actually locking out part of North America until Europe gets its release.
I didn't hear anything on that. Well, you heard the bullshit with Ubisoft. They're the lone gunman out there that's still like, yeah, we got online passes. The Assassin's Creed 4, part of the functionality, one of the things, basically, if you activate this online pass, which has nothing to do with online, it enables a feature where you could submit ships to scavenge the lands and collect resources for you. And apparently, like, if you don't have this online pass, you don't have that functionality. So it's one of those dick moves that they're doing. It's like, it's not a make or break thing, but it does poo-poo on your experience.
Yeah,
Ubisoft,
the
you need to grow a
Ubisoft
brain.
store and the Ubisoft, the Origin system, I believe, is what they use.
No, they don't do Origin. They do that Uplay shit.
Oh, that's right, Uplay.
Uplay is universally hated. Like,
Oh man, it's like the redheaded stepchild on a rented mule of the rest of the DRM.
it's so
group.
stupid. At least EA, yes, EA loved their DRM, but they never put it on the consoles. So if you activated your online pass, you were activating it through the PlayStation Store. Ubisoft is that guy that forces you to log in and create an account with their service and activate the online pass through their service on the PS3 or Xbox 360.
Yeah.
It's stupid. They do the same thing with the Wii U. I hate it.
Well, anyway, what I was talking about from the Battlefield 4 DRM lock happened on the 29th of October. There was another like day or two until it was released in Europe, and so what happened is that a majority of the gamers that were trying to activate Battlefield 4, and this was actually for PC, so this isn't just like a thing that happened on consoles. It's happened on PC. That presumably October 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 39 hours after the launch on the US is when they would be able to play. So it seems that even EA was fucking up with the Origin system on their policy when it came to allowing some American downloaded customers able to play their own fucking games. This I'm getting from PC Perspective, which was mirrored to me at Slashdot. Yeah. And it wasn't until like the 30th, 31st that they were actually able to play a game that they had bought all the way back on the 28th.
All right, let's just prove a point. Hackers, or we can't use that anymore. We have to.
Oh no, you can't use hackers.
Remember,
remember,
what we call them? We call them platypuses.
yes, platypuses unite. Platypus the planet.
The platypuses have successfully released Call of Duty Ghosts for Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
Well in advance. I can right now in less than, let's see, what is the speed? I will actually right now. I see Battlefield 4, and it's for the PC, and it's 23 gigs. Download torrent, click the button. Let's see, how long would it take me to pirate a game?
Here we go with the e-penis again.
No, well, not trying to say the internet connection, but try to say the fact that how easy it is to pirate games on PC. It's just ridiculously easy. No mod chips required, folks. But it will take me, which it's just, connecting to peers, which there are 2,439
This is, of
seaters.
course, assuming that the thing he downloads is a game and not just some horrible, horrible malware.
Oh, no, I trust... No, one of the groups is called Reloaded. I trust
Reloaded?
I trust their
Yeah,
shit. No, I trust their shit. No, there's 3,000
What track are you using?
I'm using Kick-Ass Torrents.
Nice.
Or that's their tracker. Alright, it is officially starting to download, and it's downloading at 3 megabytes a second, which will take about 2 hours. So 2 hours, and I can get a game for free.
Wow.
Arrgh.
How about them apples?
It just... Whatever. It just proves the point.
You gotta love PC gaming.
Exactly. But even in the fact that you can download a PS3 game and an Xbox 360 game a week before it's released. I mean, as of tomorrow, it's 5 more days until Call of Duty Ghosts, which I do believe they will be shipping those out. I think Amazon said they will be shipping out the PS4 and Xbox One editions early because you have no console to play on. It's the same thing for the Wii U.
So they really don't care.
I had like 3 or 4 days before the Wii U came out. I had the Call of Duty for that too. But yeah, so that just proves the point. I mean, I hate Battlefield, by the way. Boo! You can thumbs down this podcast.
Oh, please, nobody
I
cares.
never cared about Battlefield. Like, I tried it so many times. I just find that what
I
want...
liked it. I'm not like a huge fan of it, but I played it on...
I'm not saying it's shit. I'm never going to say that. I'm not saying it's a bad game.
I mean, how many times can you, like, jump out of a helicopter, parachute, shoot a rocket, break through a wall, and then kill somebody by knifing them after having all of that happen with, let's say, the A-Team music playing in the background? That provides an experience. That's something everyone needs to share at some point in their lives.
I'm going to finally set the record straight. The difference between Battlefield and Call of Duty is simple. Call of Duty is arcade shooting, where you just, you have a quick round of 15 minutes, you guys kill each other, it's all about killing each other, you're in a small enclosed space, it's the whole method is to just get as many kills as possible, right? Battlefield is all about making these drawn-out war scenes where you're, driving tanks, you're trying to capture points, command posts, or you're trying to destroy the little, things,
Basically, it's everyone in a clusterfuck perpetually trying to reenact scenes from 18.
You're having maps that are like 18 times bigger than Call of Duty. Yeah. So, you're not going to get, where in Call of Duty you can get 20 fucking kills in a single round, Battlefield you'll probably get 2. It's just a totally different type of game. That's the thing. They're completely different type of games. I cater more towards the arcade, hey, I want to run around for 15 minutes shooting everything that moves, versus Battlefield where you want to plan, you want to strategize, you want to capture a point, so there's multiple ways to get there. You can choose to fly in, but then have someone shoot you down with anti-air guns. So that it's a very complex game. I just want the simple thing where I have a bunch of 4-year-olds screaming at me, telling me I'm a fucker for losing, or that someone else is going to rape my mom.
Like 5 seconds ago.
It's just a different thing. Am I saying Call of Duty is bad? No. Am I saying it's the greatest thing in the world? No.
Nope.
Is it innovative? Fuck no. Ooh, we have dynamic...
No, I'm sorry. If you want to find innovation, you're not going to find it in AAA titles. AAA titles aren't AAA titles with innovation.
Hey, the fish moves. It's got individual AI for the fish.
I mean, unless you're talking about Valve, maybe, then yeah, but no.
Of course, oh god, I can't wait till Valve releases some better news. I mean, Valve is... there's going to be...
Hey, don't you dare say that Valve released bad news.
No, I never said that. I said I can't wait until they release some, what I mean by good news is, hey, we're releasing Half-Life 3, and here's when you can buy it.
What's funny, though, is that Torvald was actually asked about Valve's move towards pushing Linux as the next OS for consoles, or for a console-like system, which is not going to be an actual console, the Steambots initiative. And he said that that is the best thing that could happen to Linux. And at the same time, there was somebody else who says all Linux needs is one killer app.
Exactly.
That's all it is. And if it turns out to be something like Half-Life 3, that's it. Game over, my friends.
Exactly.
We got a new
Imagine
player.
this. This is how awesome they would be. They would release a disc version of Half-Life 3, and on the same disc is the installer for Ubuntu. You can install the OS and the game on the same disc.
Oh my god.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, actually I have to
They put on the box, includes a free operating system.
Includes OS. Full package.
And then on the back it has half of the box is all about the game, the other half is how you get free Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you get a web browser, you can install stuff, you can manage media.
Okay, that's enough. I'm the Linux guy here, my friend.
Huh? Yeah, I know. No, I don't mind Linux. It just right now it can't be my primary OS.
That's because you're weak.
No, but I look. I just don't want to deal
for life.
Okay, look at it this way. The guy, the one guy at work, he put Linux on his laptop. So we were going to the data center, and we needed to use VMware vSphere client. We needed to use that. If he hasn't
set it up, that's going to be a bloodbath.
No, what's funny is you can't. There is no native installer for VMware vSphere client on Ubuntu.
There is no native installer period for anything in a Linux environment.
No. We're not talking about that. You need to be very clear. Look, no, there are native installers, and Ubuntu has solved this. But what I'm trying to say is, VMware doesn't make any Linux version of their application, which is funny because ESXi is built on Linux, which is very ironic. So
I would have thought they actually had an installer for Linux.
They don't. If you want to, you have to utilize Wine, which is bullshit. You would
Yeah,
think
no, Wine is still unstable. The architecture is not worthwhile.
exactly. You would think
Literally,
this
what Wine does
application
is just create a file directory that mimics that of Windows. And no, what? Why?
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. You would think that of all the companies out there,
Yeah.
VMware would have a native
would they
Linux-supported version of this application, but they don't. So me being the guy with the Windows laptop, I whip it out, press 2 buttons, and boom, I have VMware vSphere running, and I'm able to manage the server. That's a particular situation where, based on my job, based on what I need, Windows will suffice. But
I want you
no
to
other
know,
OS
I'm rolling
will.
my eyes right now.
No, because they don't have a vSphere client for Mac. They don't have vSphere clients for Linux. They only have it for Windows.
Mac, I knew that they didn't have one because I had to try to set one up for the office. Some guy was running a Mac, and yeah, no, it doesn't. But I could have sworn that there was one for Linux, at least for, I don't know, Gentoo.
Nope.
Or Prox.
Now, mind you, for anyone that's going to be a smartass and say, you're wrong, we're not referring to VMware Fusion. We're not referring to VMware
No.
Workstation. We're referring to the enterprise stuff, which is vSphere. Completely different animal.
I wouldn't say a better animal, but yeah, completely different animal.
No, it's one of the best out there. ESXi is godlike. I mean, yes, Citrix, or not Citrix, what was it? Was it Citrix? I think Citrix.
No, not Citrix.
Who the fuck else? I know Microsoft does one, Hyper-V, which is shit. I mean, it is shit. I mean, they were giving Hyper-V away for free. You want to know what Hyper-V is?
And even then.
It's literally a full-blown install of Server 2008, 2000, whatever, and then has Hyper-V module on top of it. Whereas ESXi is this little tiny fucking Linux installer that you can boot off of a flash drive, which is what we do.
Yep.
So, I mean, hey, heck, we just transitioned to a tech podcast, which I really want to do, but...
Sorry, folks, we got to cut it here. We got to cut it here, man.
No, you can't take me away from the mic. Never.
We're cutting it, okay? You know, I'm calling the safe word. Platypus, platypus, platypus.
And that's
Take him down, Red Team. Take him down. We have a go for platypus. Good night, everybody.